Welcome to another episode of It Had to Be Said podcast, where we say out loud what you think in private. No topic is off limits. And in today's podcast, I want to talk about the fact that we have all this information at our fingertips, whether it's through social media, YouTube, or just like Google News that pops up on our phone. We literally walk around with like a mini newspaper in our hand when we have our cell phones, right? And I was having this conversation with my colleague here at the office, and he was talking about how, some of these athletes, as far as, these players in the World Cup, they make millions of dollars, and sometimes they, this is their last opportunity to make money, and, they may end up going broke. And I couldn't understand that. I've never really been able to understand that because, if you think about this, right, and let's look at it from the point of view of an athlete, and we'll look at it from different other point of views as well, but let's look at it from the point of view of an athlete. If you are a young person in high school and you're playing some type of sports and your goal is to, go professional, whether it's the NBA, NFL, or whatever the case may be, eventually you'll probably end up getting recruited by a university, getting a scholarship or anything else like that. And then you want to get drafted and go into the professional leagues. So if you're that in love with the sport, I'm pretty sure you've heard the stories of other athletes that have gone broke because they're spending their money, partying, not investing properly, or they have, women that they had children with and they have to pay these huge, massive amounts of child support to women. And you've heard about like the setups as far as, I've been sexually assaulted and all this other things that are like career changing, right? And all this stuff is at our fingertips. So if you're an athlete and you're in a particular sport or you're playing a particular sport, I'm pretty sure you've heard the horror stories. So how is it that you can get recruited into the professional league and make the same stupid, dumb mistakes that the other athletes made, and you've seen how it turned out for them? See, at that point, it's a choice, because you had time to prepare. And people want to say, well, they're not financially literate. They don't know how to manage their money and this and that. At some point, it's not just about managing money. It's simply about just surrounding yourself with the right people and not making the same mistake that the other players made in the past, And I just can't wrap my head around that. That's why when I see some celebrities or athletes, they lose it all, I can't feel bad for them, because there are so many examples of other athletes in the past that done the same thing and things turned out for them horribly. It's kind of like the concept of you're playing the lottery. We've all heard the curse of the lottery, right? Where people play the lottery, they win, and they end up dead or losing all their money within 5 to 10 years, right? And we're talking about millions, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars. And it's all because when they won the lottery, they went crazy and they splurged buying this, buying that, and no financial money management, right? We've heard the horror stories. So tell me this. I've asked so many people this when they come into my office. And for those of you who don't know, we have a lending business here. And, I play the lottery. And I have some of my clients when they play the lottery, and I say, well, you're playing the lottery, so what do you plan on doing if you win? I don't know, man. I'll probably just buy a house and that's it, and just enjoy life. So I don't get this. You're playing the lottery with hopes of winning. We're talking about 50 million, 100 million. After taxes, you're walking away with a minimum of 30 million, right? And you're telling me if you win, you have no idea and no exact plan what you're going to do with that money. You see? It's like people are playing the lottery and they're not really expecting to win. And when they do win, they end up losing it all. So the point I'm trying to make here is simply this. If you're going to do something, anything in life, not just your financials, you should always look at it like this. What happens if I win? What happens if things work out? How am I going to deal with it? And you could apply that to all aspects of your life. Like if you're going to get involved with a relationship,
I'm Serena Williams, and I'm healthier on Ro. I've lost 34 pounds in a year with GLP-1s, diet, and exercise. On Ro, you can access GLP-1 options, including the first FDA-approved GLP-1 pill for weight loss. Go to ro.co/journey to see if you qualify. 14 to 20% average weight loss in 1 year in non-diabetics with obesity or overweight with a weight-related medical condition versus 2.2% to 3.1% in placebo arm. RX only. To stay informed about serious side effects, go to ro.co/safety.
Why are you looking at the relationship like, okay, I got involved in this relationship and I'm looking at the breakup? Why are you not looking at it like, okay, this could be the happiest time and the happiest moments of my life, and this could be the person I spend the rest of my life with? You know, a lot of people, they get involved in relationships just for the breakup. And it's not like we actually go into the relationship and say, oh, I'm just going to wait on the breakup. Once they're in the relationship, now they're like, okay, I'm waiting for the happy phase to be over with so the bullshit can start. That's a lot of our mindsets. And that's not everybody, but that's a lot of people's mindsets. You know? And if you take a look at how you probably dealt with some of your relationships, did it not happen like that where you just kind of like, you're not looking for the successful process of the relationship. You're not looking for it to succeed and everything to work out. You're just waiting for the BS to start. And this is why you see a lot of marriages and everything else falling apart as well. You know, so at some point, you know, we choose not to be financially literate. At some point, we choose not to prepare ourselves for the future, or for the future that we say that we want. Because a lot of us say we want this, we want that, because it sounds nice when it comes out of your mouth. But it does require some additional work and some additional effort. But a lot of us, we just simply say we want it, but we really don't plan for it. You know, a lot of people don't really plan for success. Think about this, right? Just sit down. If you're listening to this podcast, just process this for a second and just think about it. Imagine what you deem to be successful. Imagine the thing that you're doing right now that you're saying, man, this is going to make me some money. Whether it's your job and you're trying to save up, or whether it's a project you're working on, or whether you're playing the lottery or a sport, you hope to become successful. But what are you going to do with that money? When you get that money, if you get those millions of dollars that you hope to, or you dream of, what is your goal to make sure that that money lasts you and the next generation afterwards? Do you even have a goal, or are you just dreaming about the money? Because remember, dreams and goals are completely different. Dreams are when somebody just sits there and like, oh, I can't wait to have this. I wish I have that. A goal is when somebody's actually working towards it and they're actually planning on what to do once they have it. So if you are dreaming and wishing and hoping for millions of dollars, what would happen if somebody gave it to you today? Where would you live? What kind of car would you buy? How much is the property tax going to be on the house that you buy in the area that you plan on living in? You know, you got to think about these things. This is why you see so many people, they inherit money, or they hit the lottery, or these celebrities, or athletes, they make a bunch of money and they want to go live in Beverly Hills, California, or they want to go live in Miami Beach. All right. So you go ahead and you spend $3 million on a house, $4 million on a house, and your property taxes are well over $100 and something thousand a year. Just the property tax alone. Not talking about the insurance and all this other stuff. Did you take that stuff into consideration? Are you willing to work, and how hard do you have to work after you retire if you're an athlete or whatever the case may be? How much endorsement deals do you have to have? How much work do you have to put in, and how much time do you have to spend away from your family in order to keep up that lifestyle? And what's the chances of the person you getting with cheating on you or stepping out on you or leaving you because you're not spending time with them? What about your kids? Are your kids going to have time for you? Are you going to have time for your kids? Are you going to be in your kids' lives? Or are you going to be like a lot of these celebrities who are so busy running around making money so they can live a good life that by the time your kids grow up, they absolutely hate you because they never grew up around you. They felt abandoned. So you have to take a lot of these things into consideration. You have to think about your future. You have to plan for your future correctly. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Adley Telford. I post new episodes of my podcast every Tuesday and Thursday. Good night.